or something?
So we already started the Craigslist thing. We've made our announcement on Facebook. I think we're just gonna, talk within our community. Maybe talk to all of the fellow metalheads. With everyone we talk to.
Yeah,
and bands we play with.
Providence, Rhode Island has a really strong metal scene. There's a lot of really good bands there and a lot of really good musicians there. Whenever we play down in Rhode Island, there's the crowds are nice. The bands are incredible. So someone's out there, and I'm sure we'll find them.
Cool. So are you guys going to plan on chopping the record to record labels and go on tour, or is this something that you want to just keep local up north for now?
I don't. As far as stuff like that, I think we're just going to keep trucking along, doing what we're doing, and sort of roll with the punches. If labels approach us, then we'll talk about it as a group. But we're not out there, with the crossbow trying to hunt down labels or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, the iTunes thing's working out pretty well for us, and we're hoping that we can strike gold twice, so to speak, here. Maybe we will, maybe we won't, but either way, we're having plenty of fun doing what we're doing, and if anyone's listening that wants to do anything, serious with us like that, and we're ready to have that conversation.
I mean, I would say our goal here is if you look up Marilyn Manson again and you find our next single,
right?
Then we know we're.
No, I mean it's definitely cool because it definitely gives bands that are coming up a chance to be heard. Because without that, I mean, I would have never heard you guys, would have never approached you about coming on the show. So I think it's a good thing that we're able to do this as musicians now and get right out there. But in the same breath, it's hard to break through all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and a lot of people say like, in this day and age, it's harder to promote yourself as a band because people don't rely on the flyers on the phone poles anymore so much.
Right.
And people are just so up into YouTube and this and that. But the thing is, it's been beneficial for us. We had someone from Brazil message us, and they were like, "Hey, I really want to purchase a physical copy of your CD."
Like Ukraine and
Australia
and all that shit. It's really weird. I mean, like Dave said it before, but we really have no idea what we did. I mean, we think we're small potatoes, and all these people are hearing us, and it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, some kids can't even afford our CD because of the shipping cost. One guy we just sent was it Brazil?
It was somewhere. It might have been Ukraine.
But yeah, we hooked this guy up with one CD, and he really wanted it signed and everything. So, we thought it'd just be a cool thing to do, and we hooked him up.
No, I mean, that's always a great feeling. I mean, I find it weird too. I mean, because even my radio show, I mean, besides the United States, I mean, like Turkey is number 2. I got a lot of fans in Brazil, so it's kind of weird. It's like you never think that those people are going to want to listen to it, and then all of a sudden you're out there.
All the metal bands, they barely tour the U.S. anymore. They're all playing Europe and South America, so it makes perfect sense. That's where the metal scene is now, really.
Right.
Shame, but.
No, I hear you. Now, you got this whole terrorist thing going on. I mean, does that worry you about doing big shows, stuff like that, or that hasn't even entered your mind yet? I mean, because I mean, it's a possibility that something could happen at even a local level show.
I mean, we haven't played on an international level, so it's not even on our radar. I mean, it's terrible what happened, but
we played a couple of pretty huge shows, but honestly, if it has entered my mind now, I didn't actually make that connection. But you're right. I mean, that shit's fucked up. I mean, what can you say? It's it's horrible, but it's not an excuse to just go and hide. I would say.
Right. I mean, I think a lot of the bands that canceled their shows over in France, I can understand certain controversial bands like Marilyn Manson canceled his shows over there, but now it's like they're being punished, and it's almost like everybody's frightened about doing these shows, and that's exactly what they want to happen, basically. And now they're being punished because you can't entertain them. So now they have no concerts to go to because everybody's canceling their shows. So I think it's kind of fucked up, but it's
no. I mean, what's happening in Europe right now is terrible. I mean, you see the stories every day now. If you read the metal like websites, you know, they're all the bands are canceling shows over there, and I'm sure it's not just the metal community. It's crazy, but you know,
that's a real defeat when you know, you're canceling events like that.
Yeah.
There are some other bands that are traveling through that they're still trucking along. They're not canceling, but.
Right, and it's, you know, the music business is hard enough right now, and now, you know, the world's got this shit to deal with, and now they're making threats on New York City and all of that shit, and all the major cities. I mean, they're here, so it's definitely something, you know, that I thought about. Like, Jesus Christ, when I was in the band and I was touring, I was crazy. I mean, I would piss a lot of people off to get attention and stuff, and I can see, you know, some bad shit happening. If I was coming up today, I'd basically probably be in a lot of trouble because someone would want to shoot me, I think. But now, how is the album going to be distributed? I mean, are you going to do the physical copies and digital copies and get it back on iTunes, the same avenue you took with the last record? Because, I mean, it seemed to be a pretty good approach for what you guys are doing.
I think, you know, whatever we did for the last CD worked perfectly for us, so we're going to keep that going. We're definitely going to have the physical CDs. I mean, we're all old school. We want to have that hanging on our wall somewhere. You know, plus we want to give them out at shows or, you know, more of the same.
Yeah,
right.
Pretty much the same exact thing and see what happens. I think this is really, I mean, what happened with Outbreak and the songs I like realized the one you played in the beginning, you know, it was a surprise to us, and we just kind of did this thing, and you know, we had no idea what we were doing or if it would work. And now that it did work, we want to try it again and sort of just test it to sort of figure out, is this like a real thing, or do we have to try something different? I don't know. I'm excited for it. I really think that we have something special here with this new album, and hopefully it's a repeat.
Now, is there any departure from the style at all and the songwriting structure, or did you keep it basically, you know, the same, keeping it to what you did on the last record?
I would say for Outbreak, we were more finding our sounds. And this is all despite the lineup changes, us as a group. I mean, with Outbreak, we were doing a little bit of everything. With this new album, it's more of just a beam. Like,
it's a little more focused, yeah.
Yeah.
I think this album really has what our sound sort of is evolving into. I mean, you know, you have every band that has a certain kind of sound. You got your Marilyn Mansons, you got your Slipknots, you got your Lamb of Gods, you know. You hear a band, and within like the first 5 seconds of, you know, hearing the beginning of the song, you know who it is. And I think that we've definitely taken a big step in that direction, because I think Outbreak to all of us was sort of very schizophrenic. There was a lot of different sort of vibes going on, and that's really cool and all. And I think that we still sort of retain that unique, you can't put your kind of finger on it sound, but at least we have a little bit more consistency now, and I think it comes across really well.
Cool. So, besides iTunes putting your stuff in heavier rotation through their radio program, did other local stations and national stations pick you guys up from that? I mean, someone had to. I mean, I did, of course, but you know what I'm saying?
We've been played a few places.
Yeah, this
95.5 in Providence was
the Justin Sane show in Maine.
Yeah, but no, 95.5 in Providence was playing us a few times.
Yeah,
isn't it done?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's been a couple of miscellaneous places here and there that have played us.
Cool.
And then obviously like the big players like iTunes, Radio, Google Play, and all those guys.
Right.
Yeah, we seem to be larger, much like a lot of bands. We seem to have a bigger sort of presence outside of the United States. You know, we have sort of our core where we exist, and then a few pockets here and there, but the bulk of it's coming from places like Australia or Brazil, or, you know, a lot of, you know, places that are expensive to get to for guys like us without a label.
Right. I mean, are you guys going to attempt to make any of that happen on your own, or?
Well, we totally could, and we totally should, and probably, yeah, before this whole thing either blows up or fizzles out, I'm sure we'll make some kind of epic journey to really do it.
Cool. Yeah, no, I think you guys should give it a try, but who am I? You know what I'm saying? So when do you think that the new album is going to be out and ready for release?
It's still up in the air. We're afraid to say a release date and then, you know, not hold up on our promises. So we've been kind of reserved. If I could give you a rough idea, I would say maybe around February.
It'd be a Valentine's Day gift. You give a little bit of hate to
It's a little tough to say because we're in the mixing and mastering process, and then after that we have to, you know, get the things burned, and then, you know, burn the whole thing.
I know you said, like, you know, for Valentine's Day, give, you know, a gift of hate, but really, with that said, what is the meaning of some of your lyrics? Is it more on the aggressive side, or?
Right there.
So they're a little bit all over the place. They're very different from Outbreak, but a lot of the songs for this album are just about a lot of internal conflict. I graduated college and dealing with, you know, crippling college loans. One song is feeling like paranoid, like there's cameras always watching you at all times in the day. There's another song that I wrote about my mother that passed away a few years ago, and me regretting that I didn't, you know, communicate with her as much as I should have, or me not realizing that I'm very similar to her. I didn't realize that before. But the songs are a little spread out. It's not all one topic or a concept album like that.
There's a song about Breaking Bad, and there's also a song called Murder Them All, which is where I get that hate reference from. Did those make it over to...
Yeah, Murder Them All made it over.
Murder Them All is you know, probably the coolest thing that I ever think Dave wrote, but he would disagree with me. There's a lot of really good stuff, but he touches on a lot of topics. I don't always know what he's talking about because screaming. But he gets pretty personal with it. I think one of the songs, which unfortunately we don't have a good mix of just yet, is really personal, and I think that's a real special one.
Cool. Because it sounds like you write your lyrics with a lot of meaning and not just, you know, empty. I mean,
I really don't like the whole, you know, just write lyrics for the sake of pleasing people, or, you know, obviously I want to connect with people on a personal level, but I don't want to do that in a compromising way. I make that a very secondary thing, and I put myself first with lyrics.
Puts himself first. That's awesome.
A little, fuck you, celebration.
That's funny. So you mentioned a song about Breaking Bad. So tell me about this.
So the song is about, you know, Walter White and his perspective, and the song's only 4 minutes, but I sort of had to, I wrote it around his perspective and how it changes from episode 1 to the last episode, and, you know, how he started, like, realizing he has cancer and how he has to do things for his family, and then, you know, as he gets more sadistic, the lyrics change.
Yeah, he sort of tried to write, like, the whole story arc of Walter White's, like, his perception of...
There's a lot that crammed into one song.
And it was funny because Dave was, like, obsessed with Breaking Bad for this period, and he got on this train late, by the way, so don't let him fool you. But he was... he would be like, have you guys seen Breaking Bad? And then when he caught up, who was like, you know, ahead of us basically. He'd watched the episode before it aired basically. And he was like obsessed with the show for.
Oh, I even watched the last episode before, like my girlfriend at the time said I'd watched